Hi, this is late. Yeah, as if you can't tell already. But I don't know why. I have no idea why it's late. It's late. So here it is. Episode 68. Oh, maybe that's why it's late. So it can rhyme. Episode 68. It's not late. No, it's on time. Because it's fine. I don't have a rhyme. Oh, that would have been a rhyme. Crap. Oh well. Anyway, thank you all. Let's just get straight into the episode. Yeah.
There's no need to fear. Underdog is here.
Walking, tiny white stuff.
Ta-da!
Hello and welcome to More Geek Than Gay. I'm Joseph.
Hi, Edward here. Da-da-da.
And yes, we are a little late.
Yeah.
We almost didn't do one this week.
Okay, and this is Screech, for those of you who are catching cat vision here.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're going to hopefully... Oh, well, there goes that idea.
Hopefully not have cat butts.
Yes.
Yeah. Cat butts!
We should, as what your sister said, is like we should be, for mature audiences only. Alright, good girl.
Aww. She's a little Frankenpelt kitty. But, so how was your week, honey?
Oh, I had a busy week. Gosh, trying to think of one. We haven't done this in about a week and a half.
I know.
So let's go with last weekend. Last weekend, a week ago, the last weekend of June, I took my goddaughters, Paris and Nicole. Hey, I moved my hand not for you.
Took your goddaughters, Paris and Nicole,
to the Ringling Brothers Circus that was in town. They're both 9 years old, and they wanted to go to the circus, and to be a good Nino, I'm not going to deny them. So I took them to the circus, had a wonderful time, had a good time. They want to do it from now on every year, but they only want it just them and I.
Okay.
Because as they put it, that way it could be our time together. So that was nice that they want to do that. It was their idea, not mine, for next year. I was thinking, okay, every other year.
You'd get to see just the same troupe over and over again?
Roughly, yeah, huh?
Yeah. You have to go every year if you want to see...
Something different.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you get to see something different each time around, because that troupe would have gone back to Florida, picked up its new acts, and started its next round, but you would see some of the same acts over again.
Yeah.
For those of you who don't know, Ringling Brothers has two troupes that travel the United States, the blue troop, the blue unit and the red unit, and it takes 2 years for the circuit to continue around. And then they have the gold unit, which travels overseas.
So did that, and then afterwards went out to... I met the rest of the family out for dinner at Arriba's.
Okay.
It was nice. Sunday was... Sunday!
Oh, and really quick, for those of you who are also wondering how Edward knows just weird circus things...
Yeah. Why
I worked for the circus for a little while.
I lived on
a train.
When Edward graduated from high school, he ran away to the circus.
I did not run... Well, I did have to run to catch the train because we were late. So I had to have Romanians lift me onto the train.
Run away to the circus.
But I didn't. run away. I just had to run to. Because
And how long
the
were
circus
you? How
was
long were you in Ringling Brothers?
not very long. I twisted my ankle.
I thought you broke your arm.
No, I twisted. Where did you break an arm? I twisted my ankle on the safety net for the trapeze.
And where did you travel to?
California. That's where they go straight from here.
Yeah, after Phoenix they go to San Diego.
Yeah.
I know that for sure because in 4th of July weekend that's when they're in San Diego.
Yeah. Yeah, because I think they do. Don't they do Tucson?
They
then
do
Phoenix?
Tucson,
Yeah.
Phoenix, and then San Diego.
And then oddly enough, their schedule takes them to like Pittsburgh or something like that. It's like a weird week off of nothing but traveling to go straight across the country. It's a really weird system that they have. But yeah, so I was in the circus.
You were a carny.
I did a small hand smell like cabbage. So
And what did you do in the circus?
I was basically a grunt. So I lifted things and stepped in elephant poo. The elephant poo wasn't part of the job description. That was just a perk. Yeah. Got to hang out with the lions and a seal. I remember the seal. Honk, 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 honk. Yeah.
Yeah, the girls, my goddaughters got a kick out of it when the elephant was doing the act and it was pooping everywhere and at one point he had to sit down and there was no other way but the elephant, so the elephant sat on its own poop and they got a kick out of it. They were going, "Oh, gross," and started laughing hysterically.
Yeah, everyone thinks, oh, stepping in an elephant poo, that's so disgusting. But, you know, when you work for the circus, you gotta get places in a hurry. And there are times when you do not have time to walk around the poo, even though it seems like you would. Nope. Everybody ends up stepping in elephant poo at some time or another when you work for the circus. And much quicker than you would think. So Sunday,
I had... yeah, that's right, back to my week.
Yeah.
On Sunday, I had to go to church.
You had to go to church?
I had to go to church
Twice.
To the Community Church of Hope.
I was on call with work, so I don't have any
yeah,
interesting stories.
That's why he didn't go to the circus, and that's why he didn't go to church with me.
Yeah.
Because he was on call. That's the story we're using.
That's the story we're sticking with because, you know...
He wasn't going to do it either anyways.
Yeah.
So, Community Church of Hope, which is one of the LGBT churches here in Phoenix, they do a Christmas in July non-perishable food drive for Joshua Tree. So the Sunday prior to July 1st, they always do a presentation and a kind of a Q&A during the service. And I got to do the Q&A again.
Q&A!
Last year, they have two services, one at 9 a.m.
Not to be confused with T&A.
That's something completely different.
Entirely different. They don't do that at church.
Not this church.
Not this church. You have a T&A church somewhere?
There's probably a TNA church
There's probably
somewhere.
yeah, good point. Okay.
There's every kind of church everywhere.
That's a good point. Okay.
They have a 9 a.m. service and an 11 a.m. service. I was the only one from Joshua Tree to go, so I had to do both services. I had to do both presentations and both Q&As. It was fun. I'm done with church for the next year. I am, as most people know, I am a spiritual and kind of religious person. I do have my things. I was brought up a Catholic, and I do have things that I still do that he gets a kick out of.
His cult.
The first one.
It doesn't change it.
The original.
All your cute little cult-like things that you do. It's so cute.
So, it was fun. It was good. It was interesting to see on how many people actually go there, because last year when we did this, I did the 9 a.m. service, but did not do the 11. Well, more people show up to 11 because everyone's tired from going out to the bars. So a lot more people go to the 11 a.m. service, and I was seeing a lot of people that I knew that I did not know that went to that church. So it was okay. Get home and come to find out that there was a small earthquake in New Mexico, which is
New Mexico.
Which is about, I think it was about 30 miles from my hometown.
Hometown of.
If you're going to be obnoxious and say things, you got to do it. Say it.
I'm just segueing
No,
you to say it.
I don't know. You started it, so you keep on going.
Hometown of Morency Clifton.
So I made a joke on social media saying that, here I am. Here I go to church on a Sunday morning, and 12 hours earlier there's an earthquake in my hometown.
Morency Clifton, the only town that's actually aspires to one day be as big as Douglas. Someday they'll have a Walmart. Never.
Yeah, no.
Never.
Closest Walmart is 45 minutes away.
Yeah. Douglas.
No, Safford.
Ever? Oh.
Douglas is way far. It's like south.
I thought you guys were. I thought Safford. I thought Douglas was the closest.
Safford is.
Okay.
Douglas is south of Tucson.
Oh.
And next to Sierra Vista.
Ah, yeah. Sorry. All these little towns.
Most people got that joke, but there was one person who didn't. But I won't go into that. Let's see, what else did I do? Let's see, Monday. What did I do Monday? I didn't do one. I had a meeting. I did have a meeting. Anyways, Tuesday night I had a meeting. Wednesday was hell day.
I took the day off so he could have the car all day.
Well, you took Tuesday and Wednesday off.
No.
Yes.
I took Wednesday and Thursday off.
Oh, okay, yeah. Okay.
I'm like going, no, really, I didn't. I did not take Tuesday off at all.
Okay.
And I took Thursday off because no one bothered to ask for it off at work, so I went, well, screw it, I'll take Thursday off.
Yeah. So Wednesday was Joshua Tree, and then from Joshua Tree we had our board meeting, our first Wednesday of the month board meeting that we do, and it was the beginning of our fiscal year, so that means it was board elections, and two of the board members, Holly and Glenn, for different particular reasons, both of them personal. Step down. They both felt that their lives were getting too busy and complicated, that they wouldn't be bringing into anything new to the board. So they stepped down, and two people from the outside community came in. I should say outside community. Two people from the community outside of Joshua Tree came in as their new board member. The executive committee did not change, so we still have as secretary Todd, as our treasurer Brian, as our vice chair is Peter, and I'm still chairman. So I got reelected. So now I get to begin my full term, which is July to June. I became chairman back in September because the previous chairman had stepped down for
personal reasons.
Personal reasons.
See, that's
Yeah.
So how's darts?
Darts. That was also I was going to get to that.
Oh, okay.
So that was done by 3 o'clock? I think I got home, roughly 2:30, 3 o'clock, and then Wednesday night darts startup meeting, which means the next season, the summer season, is starting. Starts on July 15th, but so we have the startup meeting 2 weeks prior, so that way we can get the teams, get the bar sponsorships, get the schedule together. Gives us, the board of officers, 2 weeks to get everything situated and ready to go. The dart meeting went well. There was a new proposition, a change in the bylaws, which everybody approved, and that's that we are doing away with the program. There is not going to be a printed program given out at the banquet, end of the year banquet anymore. It's going to be digital and online, and it's going to be in PDF files, and it's going to go on throughout the year, so people can just upload it, download it, and then do all that other stuff. And it's great, she keeps biting you, huh?
She keeps biting me. That's how she expresses her love. She wonders why I stop petting her when she bites me.
And then Thursday I went to work. And
magazine.
And I had a quick meeting Thursday. Well, a quick meeting with darts is relatively odd, because the meeting was more of the fact that, hey, we need to talk about a couple things. Not even to talk about the thing. I'm the treasurer of the Dart League, as most of you know, and I had to go in and get the new things ready, my forums and stuff, and start a whole new batch for the upcoming season on the computer. When normally it should have been 2 hours long, it ended up being 4 hours long. So I rushed home because I had to make chicken enchiladas because Edward and I were going to a party at a friend's house.
Booze.
It was a drunken possum party when we were going there with I should say a bunch of people, a few people. And it was everybody was bringing in their favorite alcohol or some drink. And there was drinking, and we got home, and then that was Thursday. Friday here in the United States was the 4th of July Independence Day celebration.
Friday was the 4th of July in many other countries, too.
Yes, but that's why I said the Independence Day celebration.
Okay.
And we went to the movies, which we'll discuss later. All three of us. Edward and myself and the roommate that dare not speak its name. And then today
We saw another movie.
we saw another movie, which we'll talk about. Oh, and last night I had to go to the bar, and I got home very late, or early, whichever way you want to say.
Very. Exceptional.
Yes.
Truly thought he was just, like, wrapped around a tree trunk somewhere, drunk and asleep.
Maybe asleep, but I don't drive after I drink. I had one beer, and that was about 10.
That was just, you were late.
I know.
I had no idea what was going on.
But I didn't get a text message saying everything okay.
That's because every time I do, then it's like, oh, he's checking up on me.
It shows that you care. This time you didn't show that you cared.
You don't express it that way normally. Oh, it shows you care. It's more, oh, he's checking up on me. I better get home before I get in trouble. Instead of like, well, no, just let me know. Make sure you're not wrapped around a tree trunk. Okay, drunk and asleep.
And that was my week and a half. And yours, Edward?
I worked, and then I didn't work. I did schoolwork. And then we went and saw movies. And I shared with people that I had worked for the circus. And a cat bit me. Repeatedly. That's what she does. But that's pretty much my week. I didn't have anything, like, super exciting. Did I? See, that's right there saying no.
You went to the drunken possum. You went to the drunken possum with that. Yeah, that was something else.
Well, yeah. But you mentioned that. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. That dead air says no, Edward. You did not do anything exciting.
Yeah.
So I ate the tail on the possum cake.
I thought you ate the head.
I ate half the head, but then I later
because you wanted an eyeball.
I wanted to taste the eyeball. The eyeball was not as exceptional as I was hoping it would be. Yeah.
And the chicken enchiladas were a hit.
Chicken enchiladas always are a hit.
No, sometimes.
When has it not been a hit?
I have no idea, but I'm just saying.
I have no idea. I'm just being falsely modest. What the hell? So, like, and at the shindig, we did find 2 movies that I want to see all the way through.
Yes.
Zoo Warriors, or Legend of Zoo. That's also a title of that one. And also, what was it? Legend of the Flying Guillotine.
Guillotine, yeah.
Which
maybe Patrick from Screen Queens might know that one. Did you ask him?
That's not really horror.
Really?
Yeah, I don't think that would qualify.
It's a flying guillotine that takes people's heads off. How can that not be horror?
The same way that, like, Shaolin or Dolomite Shaolin or Shaolin Dolomite or whatever is not a horror movie. It doesn't matter if you do a karate chop and it makes some guy's head explode. It's not a horror movie. It's a kung fu flick.
So this is like a Hidden Tiger, Crouching Dragon?
Yeah. Or like Enter the Fist or whatever. Is that what the movie's called? Please let it be called Enter the Fist.
It's okay, I said mine wrong too, so it's okay.
Because if it's not called Enter the Fist, I just created some sort of Asian fetish porn movie.
Yes, you did.
Yeah.
It's Enter the Dragon.
Isn't there? I thought there was something about a fist somewhere. Okay, so anyway, Enter the Dragon. Yeah. But and also, I guess we had discussions about subtitles in 2 different groups.
Yeah.
Archie.
Oh,
Joseph
calling me your next boyfriend.
calling you the roommate that dare not speak its name. But Joseph had a discussion with one group about subtitles, and I had a discussion with another group about subtitles. And I have to admit that I'm probably in the minority of people who enjoy movie files or whatever. I many times do prefer dubbing because I don't think the subtitles are actually doing the writers and the script justice. I've read too many really bad subtitles. Although some movies work really well. Dostana is one that worked really well. El Mariachi, although El Mariachi only has like a couple lines in it. But other than that, I'm like, just give me dubbing.
No, I'd rather read subtitles, but I have to be in the mood to read subtitles.
That's the other thing.
I can't
Reading
just put it, for instance, and this is going to get us lots of probably comments about it, I have yet to see Pan's Labyrinth all the way through, because
I have yet to see it all the way through.
I have yet to
If I'm going to spend 2 hours reading, I'll read a book.
Oh, that's right, I finished a book. I finished 2 books.
You finished 2 books.
I finished 2 books. I forgot about that. I finished 2 books down. I finished 2 books.
You were closer to your
My
goal
goal
of being able to actually read other people's stuff.
I know.
I know.
I finished Alien Collective by Jeannie Koch, which is book 9 of her Alien Kitty Cat series.
Book latest.
The book that came out in the beginning of May. The one that was... Did you write that down?
No.
Oh.
No.
The one that was actually dedicated to myself and Colette, the long-distance assistant. And then I read a novella. Would you call it a novella? Yeah, I'll call it a novella.
Yeah, it's really pushing it to call it a novella, but
I know.
sure.
Well, yeah. Anyways, her other story, The Happy Haunted Acres of Active Senior Living, I believe it's called.
Something along those lines.
Yes.
There's active and senior and haunted and acres.
Yes.
Feel free to just rearrange those into a title eventually.
And that
happy.
one, and that one, I read in a day.
Because I think you're pushing it to call it a novella.
Because it's 52 pages.
Yeah, I think maybe a novelette.
Yeah, I'd go with a novelette.
And I think even that might be pushing it. I think we're still actually in the realm of short story.
It all
as
depends
far
on
as
the word count, though.
Word count.
Yeah.
But at 52 pages, it's really hard to put that many words into 52 pages unless you're writing, the epic version of Cat in the Hat.
Possibly.
Okay.
You never know.
I do know. I read it. I read it before you did.
No, I'm just saying in general, the epic version of Cat in the Hat.
Oh, okay. Or Hop on Pop. Hop on Pop would be the one, because Hop on Pop, I don't think any of the words in that book are more than 4 letters long.
Yeah.
But
so I'm all caught up on the Alien series, like I said, and I'm reading another novelette, A Cup of Joe, right now, and then I have the Book of Exodai and Random Musings. And
Book of Exodai is definitely a short story.
Yeah, that's an anthology.
I'm holding up almost as many fingers as pages it is.
And then the new July's issue of Penumbra, which has the Mr. Dash Saves the World, which, by the way, I gave her the title.
There you go.
Because that's how Jeannie writes. Jeannie prefers to start with a title, and this goes from there.
Did you remind her of the title that I gave her?
Yeah, I have it on my phone. I saved it.
Okay.
The AC and BC?
Yes.
Yes, it's on my phone.
But, so what's next on your... Which one's going to be next?
The Book of Exodai.
Okay. And then...
And then Random Musings.
Random Musings... Her biography?
Nah, it's just... Yeah, no, it's not really a biography, but it's just little things that pop in her head.
Oh, and by the way, these are all Ginny Koch things, because he's not allowed to read anything other than Ginny Koch until he finishes them all.
Until I get caught
assistant.
up, yeah.
Yeah.
And after that, technically, after reading those 3, I am almost caught up, because I still haven't read those short stories from Boondocks or Love and Rockets, which we don't have.
Right. And...
Oh, and Nightbeat. I have to read Nightbeat.
Yep.
Where is Nightbeat? Is it up there?
Right,
or did I put it over here?
You must have put it over there because it was right there.
Okay,
yeah, because there wasn't room for Alien Collective up there.
I have to read Nightbeat.
So you had to take it down to put room.
Yeah, so I have Nightbeat to read. Okay, so I'm not quite caught up, but I'm catching up.
Catching up.
Catching up.
And she's got another book coming out.
The next Alien series will be out in December, and she just made the announcement. And I still have to read Kaiju Rising. And then her short story in Kaiju Rising. And then she's in...
It's very good, by the way.
What, 2121 Baker Street?
Oh, yeah, she's got
That's
that
coming
one.
out on October 7th, and that's an anthology of Sherlock and Watson.
I'm fully expecting Lurky Split to be in this, but it's not.
No. But that's Sherlock and Watson, where they could use any and all of the characters and put them in any time, any place, and stuff like that.
Yes.
So, that's coming out on October 7th, I believe.
I hear that she turned them into goldfish.
I can't say it. I know what she turned them into, and I can't say anything.
It's Sherlock Holmes fish and Watson fish. Because they're underwater.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's how that comes out.
All right. So what do you got?
And I'm still working on Seduction of the Innocent, but I just have other things I've
He
got
reads
going.
multiple, as we know.
And then also with school and work and all that stuff, like I just haven't been able to sit down and dedicate to reading it as much. So now, if you guys have been paying attention to the Facebook page or to the Twitter account, and the Twitter account is actually growing really nicely.
Oh, good.
You would have gotten to see you would have gotten a rather sketchy link, and I warned you all that it was a sketchy link. So if you clicked it, you were forewarned if it was weird trying to get there, because I think it wanted you to actually download and buy some sort of weird program to be able to see this. But if you followed the link and ignored all those prompts, you would have gotten to see the pilot for The Flash, which was not supposed to be out and about. It somehow got leaked onto YouTube, and that was quickly yanked, but not before people had already downloaded it, and it ended up at that sketchy link I had.
No.
Yeah. Looks good.
Can't wait.
Looks good. The cast is a little young. That's actually my big complaint. That the cast is a little young.
Down. I'm tired of you. Down.
I just think of the Flash being a little bit more of a mature character, because in the comic books he does start off. I mean, when you first get introduced to him, he's working basically forensics for the police department. This kid, I think he's in college.
Well,
So he's younger, not at the point when he could be settling into his career and settling down and stuff like that, which I'm accustomed to thinking of that as the Flash. And the cast surrounding him is kind of young. Except for Collins. From Rent. I can't remember his name. I never get Jesse Martin?
Yes. Jesse L. Martin.
Yeah, he's in it.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah, he's in it.
I'm sure he's not singing.
No, it always seems like a waste of time to have him in anything if you're not going to have him sing, but sure, he's not singing. The interesting thing is, in the first episode, you see something that if you're a comic book fan, you know exactly what you're seeing. Or you have a really good impression of what you're seeing. The villain in the pilot is, I don't remember if he went by this name or not, but it's the Weather Wizard. And that's not really a big surprise, because that's right there. That's not a spoiler or anything. It's he robs a bank, I think in the first 15 minutes. So, but there is a whole big flashback or whatever moment at the beginning of the show that those of us in the know will recognize the high probability of a completely different big name villain that probably is going to be the story arc for that first season at least. So I don't want to give that away, because for those of you who don't know, it will be probably a nice little surprise. for those of us who do know, there will be no surprise. It'll be more the anticipation. So, got to see that, the Flash pilot. Also, got to see the first episode of Pretty Princess Sailor Moon Crystal. The relaunch of Sailor Moon in Japan. And that's an important thing to realize, because Sailor Moon went through 5 series. There's Sailor Moon R, Sailor Moon S, Sailor Moon Super S, and then Sailor Moon Superstars. And then there was nothing for a while. And then they announced Sailor Moon Crystal, and I got to see the transformation into Sailor Moon on that. And Sailor Moon Crystal, when you read descriptions, it sounds like it's a continuation, but that first episode of Sailor Moon Crystal is the first episode of Sailor Moon. I actually even went and verified and watched the first episode of Sailor Moon again while playing Sailor Moon Crystal, and there are moments when the dialogue actually syncs up with each other. So it's almost the same script in certain spots. The animation has changed a little bit. It's a little bit more watercolory looking, a little bit more modern. Not super more modern, but a touch more modern looking. The transformation, I'm not a fan of the transformation. Not because they changed the transformation, but because the animation gets really wonky during the transformation. Yeah, wonk, 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 wonk. When her arms are moving around, it looks like she has absolutely no bones, and that's just weird. In the original transformation, you can see ribbons that form around her arms and her legs to create the gloves and boots. And in the original, it just looks like ribbons that turn into gloves and boots. In this one,
Bless you.
especially, I know, little kitty goes sneeze, sneeze, sneeze. But in this one, especially with the weird, like, rubber limbs, it looks like some sort of weird foot binding fetish moment. It's Gesundheit.
Bless you, honey. Now go lick up your boogers. Good
There
girl.
she goes, licking her boogers. All right.
Good girl.
Yeah. But, so, I don't know how excited I am about Sailor Moon Crystal anymore. Just because it looks like it's the same show I've already watched. It's just they're starting it over again. With the exact same stories. So, if you get a chance, Hulu has it. Watch it. Tell me what you think.
Don't sneeze on me.
Tell me what you think, especially if you are familiar and have the ability to see the first ones. Go see that one, and then watch the original first episode and tell me if it's not almost scene for scene. They did change the introduction of Luna. How she gets introduced to Luna the cat.
Luna Lovegood's in it?
No. Not Looney Lovegood, no.
No, Luna Lovegood.
Looney Luna, yes. But no, when they introduced Luna the cat, I kind of don't like how they introduced Luna the cat in this one, and it's minor changes, but I feel really bad for the cat, and then I feel really bad for Sailor Moon, and it's just a really weird introduction as compared to the original one that I think made slightly more sense. But everything else is pretty much the exact same script. So, Sailor Moon Crystal, woo! Well, woo. Actually, I know, woo, because, you know, hey, it looks like what I've watched already. Hey, what movie did we go see yesterday?
Yesterday we went to see X-Men, Days of Future Past.
Days of Future Past. Which, as a long-term comic book fan, and...
Wouldn't it be long time?
Well,
It said long term.
I guess it would be long time. Yeah.
Long term means that, you know...
Yeah, like I was elected into something.
Yeah.
As a long-time comic book fan, I'm quite familiar with this. This is one of the classic X-Men stories. This actually is really close to when I first started reading X-Men.
Yeah, and it only took us 2 months to watch the movie, see the movie. Because it came out in May, and we saw it in July.
We had one of the only 5 theaters in town that was still showing it.
And
in a theater that sat like 60.
Yeah,
I
it was
counted
a-
the
yeah.
seats.
Oh, did you really?
I roughly counted the seats. It was like about 60. I kind of liked it.
I didn't like where we were sitting.
It felt really comfortable though. I'm like, oh, this is nice. It's like my own little private viewing room. All right.
I would have liked to have been in the first row in that upper section because we got there right when the lights
Yeah.
came down. So we didn't have.
We didn't even get to see previews, I don't think.
Yeah, we did.
Did we? Oh, yeah, we did.
We saw previews.
Oh, yeah, we saw...
So what'd you think of the movie?
I enjoyed the movie quite a bit. I think that a lot of the complaints that I've heard are a little bit unwarranted because it's a little wonky when you do time travel movies anyway. It makes it to where the original 3 movies are all up in the air as to what happened. The only thing is that we don't have an explanation as to why Magneto and Xavier are alive in the future when they died during X-Men Last Stand.
No, they didn't.
Yes, they did.
No, they didn't.
Yes, they did.
No, they didn't.
Yes, they did. Matter of fact, Jean Grey kind of phoenixes out and disintegrates Xavier on like a molecular level in Last Stand. And then in the closing credit, there was that patient that Moira McTaggart had who was comatose with no brain readings. And at the very end of the movie, I think at the end of the credits, you get to see him wake up and he says Moira or whatever with Patrick Stewart's voice.
I don't remember. I don't think so. I don't remember that.
Yeah, and
We'll have to watch the DVD then.
I won't swear to it, but I'm almost positive that Magneto also dies. I don't remember how he dies. I remember very vividly how
I don't think so.
Xavier dies.
I don't think so.
But and it was interesting how like he's back in time changing the past and the future is still like fighting onward, and I'm like, oh well, no, that future doesn't exist anymore. We already have changed something. So I don't know. It seemed a little too static on that point, but that's such a common time travel.
It's a timey-wimey thing.
Yeah, it's such a problem with time travel stories anyway. So what did you think?
I liked it. It was good. It was fun. I liked the twist that they had because, you know, the one point where they got, well, we basically, because if you haven't seen it by now, you're us. So we could talk about spoilers. When Mystique doesn't get killed in France, you know.
Why do you say it that way?
Because that's how I say France.
Okay.
So because she didn't get killed in France, she's still determined to kill Peter Dinklage.
Yes.
So she's going to Washington to kill him. So time was already saying it has to be done no matter what.
Right, which
So-
that would possibly be the argument as to why that future was still existing.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, it's like I liked how they little things like that. You know, it's like, oh no, you might want to change this, but no, the universe says no. We like how it was. You know, it still goes on. So that gave a different twist because you know how when you deal with time travel stuff, it's one of those things of bless you. It's one of those things of don't lick your boogers in front of everybody. Yes.
Yes.
It gives most people when they change the past to change the future or current time, whichever way they're doing it, is once it's done, it's done. You know, here they had to keep on trying to stop her so that she wouldn't do what she's supposed to do.
What did you think of the new characters?
What
What did you think? Let's start with Warpath.
Okay, I have no idea who's
That
who.
was the Indian guy with the black lines across his head. long
He was
hair.
okay.
Kind of
He
generic.
was just very generic-y. I thought he was okay. I couldn't. If you didn't see him, if you saw him from the back, you thought it was a girl, long-haired hippie.
That's part of the reason why he's never been super popular in the comic books. His brother existed just to die 2 issues later, or 1 issue later, actually. And then later they introduced him, and he just has a generic, bland set of power set and a chip on his shoulder because,
His brother died.
right. But we don't even get the chip on his shoulder in this because it's the future and they got bigger things to deal with than people's personal problems.
Yeah, they have Sentinels.
Yeah. So, what did you think of Bishop? That would be the black guy with the dreadlocks.
I couldn't figure out his power. It's like he took power from others. His mutation is like he kind of like Rogue. He takes some of his mutation and he centrifuges it into his gun.
See, I have to agree. They did a very bad job of explaining his powers. If you don't know,
Because I'm not an
comic
X-Men
books-
person. I don't read X-Men comic books. The only X-Men comic book I've read 2. One when my dad gave me one because he was like, "Oh, you got to read this." The other one, it was the gay wedding.
Okay.
Those are the only 2. So I'm not an X-Men
Yeah.
person.
Bishop came around about the time that I started paying much less attention. So, but they could have done a better job of really giving you a feel for what his power set was. They could have done a much better job of also explaining why Kitty, the one who has appeared in the other movies as the girl who walks through walls and stuff, why she's suddenly able to send people through time. That made no sense. That is a valid complaint. In my opinion, that's one of the complaints that people have, and it's a very valid complaint. They don't even really bother to try to explain why she has this weird secondary mutation. What did you think of Blink? That would be the girl with the elf ears and who made the portals.
Oh, she was cool. That was my favorite one.
I very
I
much liked
loved
Blink.
her. Loved her.
Loved Blink. I thought that they did a great job with Blink. And then the other one, who actually I think got the raw end of the stick because they really didn't give him. I don't think they even gave him any speaking lines. And that was Sunspot. That would be the kid with the curly hair who had like the flamey powers.
Oh, I thought that was what's his name from the first set.
Pyro?
Pyro.
No, that guy was a blonde. This kid's actually Brazilian, and I mean because he was also dark-skinned and had curly hair. So
He was okay. I mean, I thought he was Pyro, so to me it was like, oh, it gets Pyro back.
Yeah, I just thought he had Pyro actually just controls flames, where Sunspot originally absorbed solar energy to become strong, but eventually he got to where he could absorb solar energy and generate.
Flames.
Yeah. I just think that they really kind of almost wasted his character. Because, did he have a line?
I think so.
People
But they were secondary, so.
They were, but it...
And the bulk of the movie was in the past.
That's true.
So, they were present or future, whichever way you want it.
Yeah. I mean, and that is true. What else stood out for you for the movie? Anything?
That's basically it, yeah. I mean, I thought it was a good movie.
What did you think of the sting at the end?
Oh, with what's her name?
With what's her name?
The sting at the end. You mean the sneak preview?
Uh-huh.
It was okay.
It really did nothing.
It didn't make me go ooh ooh ooh. And what I asked you right when we got up, I was like, "Who the hell was that?"
Yeah, they did a really bad job of like, as compared to the Avengers ones, where you
It
a
made
lot of
you
times
go,
you see the
"Oh."
sting. You're either like going, "Oh, something big's happening," or "Oh, this is something that was referred to earlier, and we're getting something," or this just out of the blue, some guy in Egypt doing something. It really only means something to people who read the comic books, because it's Apocalypse. Supposedly the next movie is supposed to take place in the 80s, and if it does, they better include Alison Blair Dazzler, because she is so... I mean, true, it's disco, but it was still... When she came out, it was 80s, and that was her big thing. She was like the big 80s character that came out of Marvel. Especially X-Men related mutant-wise.
Oh. Go on. Are you done with your...
I'm done.
Okay. Now, here's something that we talked about, and we hadn't figured out. Where the hell was Stan Lee?
He apparently wasn't in it.
I thought it was just the first one he wasn't in.
He apparently wasn't in this one either.
Really?
Yeah, I went and looked.
Okay, I was going to say, because after the movie, I was like, well, did you see Stan Lee? I missed him.
I missed him too, yeah.
And he only stated that
But
he
we
only...
saw Kelsey Grammer.
Yeah.
I was really happy to see... I'm sorry, I love his Beast. And even though we only
And
got
we saw
to see
Anna
him...
Paquin, and I heard it through the grapevine that she
That
wasn't
she got
in it.
cut. Yeah, I thought she got cut entirely, but, I mean, we don't get to see her speak, or hear her speak, but you get to see her.
Yeah.
And I don't remember anyone mentioning Famke Janssen.
No.
And there she was.
Yeah.
With the most fake red hair ever.
As well as and she... yeah.
Oh my god. Oh, what did you think of Quicksilver?
It was okay.
Really? You only thought okay? I thought you liked him better than that.
Honestly, I've never been a Quicksilver person.
Okay. I actually like him a little bit better in the... Well, he's just such a completely different character in the comic books. He's an arrogant SOB in the comic books. An arrogant, almost completely unlikable, barely a hero type, SOB. I like the fact that we did get to see like a little cameo of most likely Wanda, Scarlet Witch, just at the very end when he's holding his sister in his lap. Which means that they're not twins in the X-Men universe. They're just brother and sister. And they insinuated about Magneto being his father. Did you catch that?
Yes. I'm sorry, I'm looking at Screech.
Yeah. So...
As she grooms herself.
Yeah. But like I said, I'm really hoping that Alison Blair is in the next one, because she was supposed to... She exists... The only reason Dazzler exists is because she was supposed to be a movie. She was going to be a whole multimedia thing with, not Elektra Records,
Casablanca.
Casablanca. I believe it was Casablanca.
It was Casablanca.
Yeah. She was supposed to have, there were supposed to be albums, they were going to do a comic book, most likely also a movie. So, yes, you got to put Alison Blair, Dazzler, in the next movie. So, and what did you think of the previews for the Guardians of the Universe?
This is the first preview.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
This is the first preview that I actually was interested in. Well, actually, no, I take it back. I've been interested in every time I see a preview, but then they show that stupid raccoon, and it totally throws me off, and I'm like, oh, I don't want to see this movie now. This is the first time I saw the preview, and they showed the raccoon, and I'm like, okay, I can deal with it. But aside from that, I don't want to see it because of the damn raccoon.
See, I didn't like the raccoon in the preview. I'm like going, this is so not Rocky Raccoon from the comic books. Rocky Raccoon in the comic books is much more... He's like a little thief-type character, or more of a rascal. Where this one just was like an angry thing. I really didn't like him. I liked Groot, what little bit we got to see of Groot. He gave a girl a flower from most likely his body. And Drax the Destroyer.
A la Frankenstein.
Yeah, the Drax the Destroyer, that's the one who's played by, I think, Batista. The one who's kind of weird colored and angry, doesn't catch innuendo. I would catch it because I have great reflexes. Do you remember that little clip? Yeah. He looked possibly interesting. Gamora looked boring. And Star-Lord, ugh. But I'm not a huge fan of Guardians of the Galaxy anyway, though. A lot of the cosmic characters for Marvel are not my favorite. I prefer the DC cosmic characters. So, today, what did we go see?
Today, we went to see Maleficent.
So now you can talk about it.
Ooh, look at that face.
So what did you think of Maleficent?
You first.
It was okay. So what did you think of Maleficent?
You first.
I just said. It was okay.
Okay, well, explain more into that.
Well, okay, it's the story of Sleeping Beauty, but kind of told from Maleficent's side of the story. And you get a little bit of backstory on Maleficent. I liked the elements that were Maleficent and Sleeping Beauty. You get to find out a little bit more detail of their relationship back and forth. That's a recent enough movie. I don't want to do super spoilers here.
Yeah.
In her back history, Maleficent, they introduced this whole idea of there being two kingdoms, like a magic kingdom with fairies and bogums and stuff.
In the Moors.
In the Moors. And then there's the human kingdom, and they're like at war or whatever. That whole storyline was just crap. It made no sense, and every time they went back to even like kind of filling in the little gaps of it, I know that they used that to try to give an explanation for why things happened with Maleficent and stuff the way they did. You could have done that on a more personal level and left the politics out of it, because whoever wrote it didn't know how to write politics in a believable way. The kingdoms did not react in any ways that made sense. And the opening and closing narration was the worst. Horrible opening and closing narration. I like the fact that they played Mills. Or Nine Men's Morris. I like anything that promotes the playing of Nine Men's Morris. So what did you think of it?
Well, did you like anything of it? Because you just basically
I said I liked the relationship between her and... Oh, and the Pixies are hideous. Oh my god, the Pixies are hideous. But I really... And this is a big, important, key part of this movie, is this relationship between Maleficent and Aurora. So, in spite of me saying, oh, I don't like this, I don't like that, and really, still, the heart of the movie is stuff other than what I talked about. You could get rid of what I talked about, and you still have almost the exact same movie. That's part of the reason why I didn't like the other stuff, is they weren't well done, and they didn't contribute to the movie. Where the actual heart of the movie, incredibly well done. What did you think?
I like it. This is one of two movies that I like of Angelina Jolie's that she's done. I'm not an Angelina Jolie fan.
Have you ever seen Girl Interrupted?
No.
She's good in that.
But I liked her in Lara Croft Tomb Raider.
Never seen it.
Um,
She's okay in Wanted. I think it was Wanted.
I never heard of it.
She's okay in that one.
So I thought she was very good. I thought her acting was very good. Just little things, when she had that look, or, with the way her characterization is, especially the whole scene of, the christening scene.
Yes,
when
that
she's
was
like,
beautiful.
I was expecting my invitation, and she goes, you weren't invited. She goes, oh dear.
That was actually beautiful. That was actually...
That whole scene was just...
And the whole scene actually really did bring back the original movie really well,
the whole,
too.
It was almost word for word from the original animation.
Yeah. They did change one thing that confused me, but I don't want to really get into that one, because that one's... I don't want to give people who are still out to watch it something else to look for, as far as like, oh, why did they do that? You've already heard my key issues, and that's the thing there. I will say that there is a moment when Angelina Jolie is giving a speech about anger and stuff, and she's halting, and all I heard were flames on the side of her head. I actually busted out laughing at that moment, because that's all I heard. I have no idea what the rest of her speech was. So, and that wasn't anyone's fault, other than the fact that
was him.
It just really delivered just enough the same way that it brought back that other scene. So, anything else you want to say about Maleficent?
There's two things I didn't like about it.
What are your two things you didn't like about it?
One of them, I think it's because you have to be a Disney-phile.
One of them... Are you talking about the one that I think you're being incredibly trivial about?
Yes.
Okay, continue. The one that if you've actually watched any of the previews.
No, I still say they don't show it in the previews.
They mentioned in the previews.
The three in the animation, they're the three good fairies. In this, they're the pixies, the three pixies. In the animation, and even in the ballet, Flora, Fauna, Merryweather. They're not named that in this movie. They're
Something Flitter and something else.
Flitter, Pixie Dust, and Thumbleweed. I have no idea. They were dumb.
Flitter was Fauna.
Yeah. No clue. Annoyed the hell out of me. Did not like it.
Because they still were quite obviously Flora, Fauna, and Merryweather.
Yeah. Without, especially because, you knew who they were because of the colors. But at the same time, their characterization, too.
Like when Flora did her magic, it was rose petals.
Mm-hmm.
When Fauna did her magic, that's when the butterflies came out. And then Merryweather, we'll never know. But what's the other thing you found annoying?
The other thing I found annoying, Maleficent, traditionally, has always turned into a dragon.
Rawr.
In the movie version, the live-action version, she doesn't turn herself into a dragon.
No. No.
Nope.
But it makes perfect sense.
It makes sense.
It's actually not bad the way it works out.
Yes, it does make sense. I will say that. It does make sense. But, like I said, I'm a Disney file. So I was,
In which case, I don't know why that one thing that I mentioned doesn't bother you more. Except for the fact that it makes sense for how they set up the rest of the movie for that one change. Which is it's the one I'm not going to mention.
Yes.
So, you guys don't think that I'm going to let that slip, because I'm not. Ha. Ha ha ha. Ta-da!
Okay. So, next subject.
Next subject, kind of just going through like a couple little things. First of all, D&D 5th edition, it actually launched. Thanks to Marcy, she brought it to my attention. Marcella Rockwell, who has actually written books for Dungeons & Dragons in the past. And they launched the basic set. I don't know whether or not you can... I know you can buy the basic set. I don't know if you can buy the player's manual yet, or player's handbook. But when they launched the basic set, they also put a PDF on the website so that you can download and see how the rules basically work. I haven't gotten deep into... I haven't gotten deep into them yet, because I'm actually going to wait until... I know I had the hiccups, it's weird.
No, that's not what I was going to say.
Oh, what were you going to say?
I think we're getting a haboob.
We're getting a haboob?
Look at that.
Yeah, right now it looks more like her titties. But, I'm waiting until I can print it out and then really play with it, and because it also gives you a character sheet so that you can do a character, so I want to do all that. So I haven't gone deep into it yet. The only thing I did notice is that while you can generate a basic character, and it gives you the basic structure for how you can do a little bit of adventuring, it doesn't give you really any sample monsters. And I thought they would give you at least a couple sample monsters so that when you did your sample adventuring, you'd have something to sample fight other than other players or something. That's my only complaint. And I know that, they don't want to give away everything, but I just figured like 5 monsters. Or something, something that, so we can see how they're going to redo the structure of the monsters and how the rules work when you're actually doing a confrontation and stuff like that. So, but D&D, go to the website. They have the PDF all sitting there ready for you to download or print out or however you want to do it. So, go for it. I'm all big on supporting this idea, especially now that they're giving a nice sample so that people can try it before you buy it.
I'm brushing teeth.
Yes. Also, I the other night watched the old Full Moon movie Arcade. For anyone who knows these movies. Full Moon did the Subspecies. They did Puppet Master, Demonic Toys, and they did a whole bunch of B movies. And this one's called Arcade, where basically all these kids are
Sucks into arcade games?
an
Like Tron?
arcade game. An arcade game. Yes.
Like Tron.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And it's
So it's a cheap version of Tron.
kind of, yeah, and it's actually somewhat entertaining for how bad and derivative it is in many ways.
So not like Tron Legacy.
Maybe, yes.
You never seen that?
I haven't. But you might want to sit up more because evening light is starting to block you into shadows.
Yes, I know. But I'm
Yeah.
too lazy and I'm too comfortable.
So,
Well, actually, it's not even evening light. It's Haboob.
it's haboob.
Haboob. Which, by the way, we got one the other day on July 3rd. We got our first Haboob or actually, we got our first monsoon storm here in Phoenix.
Ta-da!
Yes. It's the most time we get our rain.
Pretty much, yeah. That's where most of our rain comes from. And the funny thing is that people go, you live in a desert, what do you mean? No, really, we have monsoons. We meet the actual climatological definition, or the weather definition of a monsoon. So it's kind of interesting. And given that our soil doesn't absorb water that much, an inch of rain here, wasn't it an inch of rain just 2 years ago that wiped out that small town just outside of Maricopa County?
No, it's an inch and a half.
Oh, yeah.
An inch and a half will cause a flood.
And, I mean, it destroyed a small town. So, because it all has to run off somewhere, and then suddenly it's actually 3 feet of water that have covered up a town.
That's why we have that stupid motorist law.
Yeah, where if you drive through what looks like a puddle and it ends up being 4 feet of water, well...
And they have to get...
come out and rescue you?
Yeah. Guess
you're
who
going to
gets
pay for it.
Yeah, you pay for it.
Yeah, stupid motorist law.
Because it happens quite often.
Yeah. But back to Arcade. Interesting thing about Arcade is it has, I want to say John Delancey, Q from Star Trek.
Q.
And also, and I can't remember what the name of,
Q.
a young Seth Green. There's a young Seth Green in it, looking exactly like an older Seth Green.
Without the facial
Except
hair.
for his hair's puffy. Yeah, no facial hair, and his hair's obnoxious. You can tell that as a character he's a douche just by his hair. It's really weird. And also, you remember the movie Christmas Story?
Yeah.
Remember Ralphie?
Yeah, Peter Billingsley.
He's in it. He's a teenage Peter Billingsley is in it. Which, listening to him, say 4-letter words is so disturbing.
Oh, I have something other that's worse.
Because it's Ralphie. I'm like, oh my god, you're gonna get your mouth washed out with soap for that. So...
Yeah. Seth Green in Party Monster. That's disturbing.
Seth Green. See, by now, for me, that would be going backwards, because I've seen him do so many other... he's the voice on Family... He's a voice on Family Guy. He does Robot Chicken. Did Greg the Bunny. Now, I could watch him do almost anything, and I probably wouldn't even flinch. Where this Billingsley kid, Ralphie, and then this. It just was... And once... I didn't realize it was him at first. It wasn't until later, and I went, hey, and once you realize it's him, it's obviously him. And just, he says such foul language. It's just so weird.
So what else you got?
What else I got? I got RuPaul's Drag Race news.
Oh, and?
Ish.
And?
This is regarding the whole thing of RuPaul starting, or well, them starting an equivalent of RuPaul's Drag Race in England.
Okay.
Jonathan Ross is a big fan of the show. He's wanting to bring it over to England. Originally, talk was that he was going to get one of the local, a local big name drag queen there to be the main person. But apparently, Michelle Visage commented to him that Rue would be available if he wanted to, and he said, "Oh, well, that changes everything." And so and this is something that Michelle Visage and Rue talked about on their podcast. So this is kind of straight from the horse's mouth there. There's a chance that if they do present a British version of RuPaul's Drag Race, it will still be RuPaul's Drag Race, and Michelle is thinking Rue, Michelle, and then a local person.
So no Santino.
No Santino. Yeah. That the Santino will be replaced by talent.
Graham Norton.
That would be great, actually. Oh my god. Pardon me. So that's the RuPaul development that I have.
Oh, good.
That I thought was interesting.
Yeah, I didn't even know about that.
Yeah. So yeah, just found that out just the other day, and I actually still had the story up on the computer. But then I wrote it here, and I went, oh, okay. Well, I don't really need it up on the computer.
Okay.
But
so before we do comments.
Before we do comments,
yes, let's talk about one thing that we were talking about the other day when you were looking at our stats.
And what is that?
Australia still loves us.
Hi, Australia!
Even though Edward doesn't love you.
Hoppy hoppy kangaroo.
So
why do you say I don't love
So what
Australia?
territory do we get our most viewers in Australia?
New South Wales. Which, by the way, Australia, and okay, so here's the thing. You can kind of tell when you guys gave up. When they come in, and you got Victoria, and you got New South Wales, and you got Queensland, and down here's Tasmania, and then around there, I guess you guys just decided that you were done, but there was still like 2/3 of the country left, or continent, and so suddenly it's just Northern Territory, Southern Australian Territory, or whatever, and the Eastern Territory. You guys really just gave up after a little while there.
Gave up what?
Gave up on trying to come up with names. It's like,
okay.
Yeah.
See, I told you, he doesn't like Australia.
I do.
But thank you for watching us, Australians.
Yes.
We love Australians.
Yeah.
I love Australians.
You guys have that really cool, like, Sydney, the opera house.
Mm-hmm.
And you got the corals.
Mm-hmm.
And you got kangaroos.
Which I saw at the Ringling Brothers.
See?
I saw a kangaroo.
And I believe you have spiny echidnas. And platypi.
I know the platypi. I don't know about the other. I never heard the other one.
But
But
the spiny echidnas might be in New Zealand, which it's Australia.
no, those are fighting words.
No.
That's like comparing Greece with Turkey.
So.
And then what other country is big aside from the U.S.?
Well, see, now I need to go in here and look that up.
Because didn't you tell me it was France?
Well, France did check in right as we had our moment of me going pom 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 pom, which sorry about that, France. I don't je ne parle pas français. So all I know how to say is pom 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 pom. And then Portugal, right after you were like gleeful about them losing in soccer or whatever.
Oh, I watched soccer. That's also another thing I did this past week and a half. I've been watching soccer. I watched 3 of the 4 games yesterday and today. I got to see USA lose against Belgium. Great game, though. Very good game. Every animal in this house was completely scared of me. I was home alone. I was yelling at the TV. I was screaming and yelling, and very good game. And then today I saw. So in the final four, I know I'm not saying the proper term correctly because I used to American terms, but I can only remember three of the final four teams. It's Brazil, Germany, and the Netherlands. I want to say was it? Shit. Argentina, and Netherlands. Yes, I got all four. Those are the final four. So we'll have to see on what comes up. Games. Those two games will be on Tuesday, and then I can't remember what day is the actual World Cup. So continuing on.
Estonia had come back.
Oh, we got Estonia. Yes,
We got Estonia back, and I'm actually looking at different stats right here. But also Canada and United Kingdom, and I mean, as you can see, we're like everywhere here.
and then that's also another thing. They show there's one of the things that they show on this program is they show a map. You have a choice. Here's just the country names and stuff, but they also show a map. Edward's trying to figure out what this country is because he's got U.S. education going for him. So welcome on board. Welcome and come on. Thank you for coming on and listening to us, Philippines.
No. Actually, that was the game I was playing.
Oh, was it the game?
Yeah.
I thought it was here.
Where I came up with the virus and was trying to wipe out all humanity. And suddenly it went over to the Philippines, and I didn't realize that was where the Philippines were. I thought the Philippines were farther north.
No, I thought this was this.
No. And poor Doug, the virus, or actually bacteria, couldn't kill off people in Sweden, Iceland, or Greenland. It's the only reason that Doug didn't survive. But Doug Jr. wiped out everybody. Doug Jr. learned from his father's mistakes.
Facebook game.
Yeah. Actually, it's an app on the pad. But I don't know if it's available on Facebook.
No.
But, so, yeah. And actually, Math Monkeys, in spite of your slandering it last week, is growing really, really well. Especially for as little push as I do on it. I'm basically letting it grow its own natural course. And so, for 2 episodes, that's looking really good there. First 2 episodes already in double digits. And so, yay. Thank you for anyone who's been watching or listening to Math Monkeys, because that was just an audio podcast. 4-color Storytime hasn't grown as much yet, but it's also still growing. And thank you for that, too. So, and if you know anyone who might be interested in a math podcast, tell them. We got Math Monkeys. And anyone who'd be interested
He's got Math Monkeys.
Also, basically a podcast about, like, each one's a different issue of a comic book, and I basically just tell the story of the comic book. That would be 4-color Storytime. Tell your friends about that one, too. Yay!
So, comments.
Comments. We've got comments. We've got lots and lots of comments from Terry.
Terry.
Hey, Terry.
Montana girl.
Do you know why we have lots of comments from Terry? Because you called her out last time.
Because, yes.
Yeah.
And I called Stewie Monster out too, but he didn't say anything, except for good Epi.
Well, yeah. So, yeah, we do have various people that we haven't heard from in a while, and we have yet to hear from a single Australian.
You know who we haven't heard from in a while? Your author friend, Jamie.
We have not heard from Jamie.
Ever since Phoenix Comic Con, we have not heard from her. I guess
actually we did.
We did?
We did, like, once after that, yeah.
I don't know.
And then she faded.
Yes.
But,
she must not like me.
Terry was having difficulty with because she likes watching the video podcast.
Yes.
And she was having issues with YouTube, apparently. And was having issues with being able to leave comments, too. But she's verified that, no, they were not on film. The Montana girls were not on film.
Oh, when on our thing?
Yes.
On our DarkCon episode?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and other than that, yeah, just nice. That was the main comment. Yeah.
Okay.
So, and that basically covers comments right now.
Yeah, because we haven't heard from Heather.
I know.
Or Red. Well, we usually don't hear from Red.
Not that much. No. Yeah.
No, Heather we used to hear from.
Yeah. And like I said, we have yet to hear from a single Australian.
Yes. We have yet to hear from a single person outside of the United States.
That's true.
So
And
no Aussies, no what would you call it? Englanders?
Sure.
No Portuguese, no Francians, no Filipinos.
No Filipinos. No Chinese.
Yeah, we have people, but we have Chinese.
Ni hao ma. So, like, yeah. Feel free to give us comments, because we're really curious about you guys around the world. And yeah, that's really it. I didn't know where to go with that after I said it.
Yeah, I know.
I started a sentence that went, no, I just said that. So, anything else?
No, I think that's it.
Okay. Well,
So,
thank you very much. Like I said, see, you just gave yourself a shadow.
I know, because of my knee.
Yeah.
I've been doing, see?
There we go.
Shadow. It's just, my hip is starting to bother me from this position.
So,
Anyways.
thank you. We will try to be more timely next week.
We have to be.
Hey, you know what next week is? Episode 69. Brown chicken, brown cow.
Boring.
Brown chicken, brown cow.
Boring. I'm not that number.
So-
Excuse me.
So,
I don't care
until
for that
next
number.
time. Yeah.
Bye-bye.
But that's a whole other story.
Good night. Goodbye.
Toodles.
Good morning.
We villains always get the short end of the stick.
Thrown off of cliffs. Impaled by ships.
Everyone has it all wrong. I'm a true artiste, not a cruel beast. I get hot for haute couture. Yes, I'm a slave to fashion, my favorite passion. My motives are good and pure.
They are so ungrateful, misplacing all their hate. Maybe I'm a hero too.
But a happy ever after is a dream that won't come true.
Ladies, I know exactly how you feel. I was cast aside, barking trident's pride. I defied misguided standards, standing up to fight for a woman's rights. Got me banished beneath the sands.
I was forced to act when my kingdom was attacked. We are all misunderstood.
Now a happy ever after is a dream that's just no good. They thought I was evil, but I was only trying to help. Yes, I only wished her well, so I gave Snow White an apple with a special little spell. Now imagine you could close your eyes and know they'd only open wide the moment you were chosen by the true love of your life. I mean, she was living with 7 men.
I agree completely. See, the princess was a joy, what a precious little toy. But I knew the day would come when she would mess around with boys. So I cast a spell that put her out the day she turned 16. Till her happy ever after came to wake the future queen.
But a happy ever after is a dream we'll never see.
We are all misjudged.
We're all begrudged, and of course we've made mistakes.
But you can rest assured our hearts are pure.
No one's evil for evil's sake. We have all had dreams.
Things are never as they seem.
Maybe we the heroes too. But a happy ever after is a dream that won't come true. I dream of being happy. I dream of finding glory. I dream of living happy ever after.
All we've tried, we have always been denied.
Doesn't matter what we do. Now a happy ever after is a dream that won't come true.
Hey, and thanks for watching our video. Question of the day, who is your favorite Disney villain of all time? Let us know in the comments below. Personally, I'm a Captain Hook kind of guy. More of a fuller person myself. But Captain Hook. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe for more 80-byte musicals. And if you want to help support us and like what we do, don't forget to buy our music on iTunes and Louder. Links to that over there and in the description. For more information on a sing-along and the fact that we're going to LeakyCon this year, make sure you check out our behind the scenes right over there. So, thanks for watching, and don't forget to follow us on all the social medias. We will see you very soon.
I'm a slave to fashion, my favorite passion. My motives are good and pure.
So, in case you have been wondering, that would be the Disney musical, the Disney Villains, the musical, featuring Maleficent. And that is put together by a YouTube group called AV Byte. AV Byte. I don't know what AV Bytes, but AV Byte something. You can go check them out. They got all sorts of other songs on YouTube. They'd probably be very happy for the traffic. There's even a behind-the-scenes look at how that was put together. So, hey, if you want to check that out. Don't forget about Joshua Tree Feeding Program. They are an HIV and HIV-positive AIDS program for people. They're not for people with food. No, they're a food program for. That's why that was sounding funny. They're a food program for people with HIV and AIDS. They help people with in that situation get some food. They have a sister program that helps people with their pets, so they don't have to choose between feeding themselves and feeding their pets. Please check them out at jtfp.org. Also, don't forget about Compete Magazine, your source for LGBT sports news. Don't forget to check us out next week. We will be back. Jack, yeah, with a plan, Stan. And we'll aim back for Thursday like normal, yeah, or as normal as we are. So, and by the way, for those of you who missed him, because I'm sure there were, here's our little Garfield boy. Oh, look at the Garfield boy. Oh, looking all so excited. And for those of you who are listening to the audio, that was exciting, wasn't it? Also, thank you very much for tuning into Math Monkeys, growing very quickly there, and also to 4-Color Storytime, where you can get your comic book fix. Don't forget to tell your friends about those, and we look forward to seeing your comments and to catching you all this upcoming week. Have a good day. Bye.